Hey, what's up, you guys? It's 3 stacks. Of course, I'm gonna apologize for vertical recording. Bear with me. It affects a small portion of the quality of the video, but nonetheless, you still get to hear from me and you still get to see what I'm doing. And today, I'm showing you guys a pretty interesting deck. This is something I actually do plan on taking to my next event. It's just proved itself. It's Dark Magician Demise artifacts. Now, this has really proved to be quite successful against Zodiacs and Wind Witches, and pretty much every variant that's going to be dominant in this format, which those are the two prevalent decks that are just going to be running rampant, and this deck answers well to them. It's just very, very incredible. It's a very powerful deck, and I like it a lot. Dark Magician does what it does, and with the addition of artifacts, it just allows you to steal turns in OTK, and it's really impressive. Like, your first turn is set up, your second turn is OTK. Naturally, duels only last 2 to 3 turns going against me. It's incredible. I actually tested this deck against my Herald of Perfection, and it was able to outperform them, which had me like, you know what, I'm actually going to try this out and take it to my next event. So main deck, we're running, of course, 3 Dank. You have to run triple Dank Magician nonetheless. I just like the different artwork. So it looks like he's, once he's done doing that, he gets ready to do that. And then after he's done, he kind of just has his hands crossed like, what's up? But 3 Dark Magician, it is the Dark Magician deck, no more, no less. And then 3 of his Shadow. This is basically the Shadow of Dark Magician. So a cool thing with the theme and the artwork of the deck is each card in the Dark Magician archetype that's released is a portion of this guy. Like if you see his artwork, right? Dark Magical Circle is the circle that's behind him. Eternal Soul is actually his soul. The Magician of Dark Illusion is actually his shadow, and Magician's Rod is his weapon. So all the new support combined, actually it adds up to be Dark Magician. So it's all like portions of his strength, his power, etc. And I like 3 Magician of Dark Illusion because it wombo combos extremely well with navigation, and also you basically, so what you do is you you navigation, right? You bring out Dark Magician, you bring out Illusion, and then Dark Magical Circle, that does count as a spell trap or effect, and the effect basically will be the continuous effect to banish a card. So once you've activated the spell trap or effect, you can now apply Magician of Dark Illusion's effect. So what you do is tribute Dark Magician to add Magician's Rod from graveyard back to hand. Then you use his effect, special that same Magician again, and essentially you get to add your Magician's Rod back to hand for free. That's just one of the amazing combos and applications you can perform with this guy. I think he's really busted and nutty at 3. You have to keep him at 3. Essentially, this deck, I hardly ever go into my extra deck. I really don't even need to. I simply go into my extra deck for style points. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I go into my extra deck just for style points. And style points to me is basically to make like a flashy kind of overdone victory. When it's like, you can win. You could just attack with what you have. But I choose to just, make these funny, cool, like crazy plays just for style points, so people can kind of see exactly what my deck is capable of. And a triple Rod, it's really impressive. It's basically the only normal summon that I have. And you just keep tripling spellcasters, keep adding it back to your hand, and just continue to search. So the 3, it's just very, very powerful. I like it a lot. And so essentially, this is your Dark Magician lineup. It comprises of the 3 Rod, 3 of his Shadow, and 3 of the Man. And those 9 are basically the Dark Magician monster core I'm running. And next up is the artifacts, which is triple Scythe, the Ultras, and 1 more attack. This guy is going to be very, very powerful in the Zodiac matchup, simply because he doesn't target and you're able to interrupt in their combos. So any of these 4 artifacts are very powerful in interrupting Zodiacs in the middle of their combos. Now, if you happen to be, going second, which is kind of unfortunate because Scythe wouldn't help you as much, even though it would stop them their next turn. Whatever they have on the board, you pretty much would have to answer to it with Scythe. With Moral Attack by destroying it or banishing it via Dark Magical Circle, and then that's when your Scythe comes into play to prevent them from making another play from their extra deck. So this lineup is just pretty much the standard. You can run Beagle Tech, but the deck, it really does work very, very good without it. I am kind of like debating on whether or not I want to run a 3rd Artifact Ignition, because there are times where it comes up where you're like, you open with the artifact and you're like, if I had Ignition, this would be a lot better. But nonetheless, the deck flows very, very well with just the 4 artifact monsters. So that is basically the monster lineup, just 13 monsters. And then for spells, we have a triple Dark Magical Circle. These are basically your engine synergy cards. Triple Card of Demise, because this deck, it just flourishes with Demise. triple Pot of Duality, and also triple Allure of Darkness. These are basically just your engine cards, all necessary 3-ofs. Now you could definitely, if you wanted to, play Pot of Desires because the deck does just run a lot of 3-ofs. But me personally, I tested it out, and a lot of times I banished my artifacts, and then I had dead Sanctums, dead Ignitions. It kind of just kills the artifact engine, so I'm not playing Demise in this build. I mean, I'm not playing Pot of Desires. I have it to play it, but I choose not to. And then for other engine cards, double Ignition and double Illusion Magic, and 1 Instant Fusion. Now, Instant Fusion, I actually am debating on putting it at 2 just so that I can actually make some more nutty plays. And also so I can be able to go into my Ultimate Zokin play a lot more often and frequently. So it's just something I'm testing out. But when I was running it at 2, the thing was, you know, I'm Duality and Demise, and it's like, okay, I could special summon right now, but like I'd rather, you know, gain more card advantage so that way if they answer to my board, at least I can reestablish with the resources I have. But then there's also times when you pretty much artifact Sanctum, bring out a Scythe, and then you can play Instant Fusion, bring out your Sea Monster of Thesis, and then pretty much send those to the graveyard and get out Ultimate Zokin. So it comes up a lot, and that's why I probably will just end up running 2 Instant Fusion. I think 2 Ignition, 2 Illusion Magic, and 2 Instant Fusion for your playmakers would be perfect. But Ignition, it's kind of like I've debated like with myself whether I run 2, and I went back and forth on 2 and 3. And so far 2 has been doing really well for me. It is a really powerful engine card. When you open with double Ignition, you actually can pop one of their back rows, set a Scythe, and then use the second Ignition on the Scythe, and it's just really, really broken. I like it a lot. And for traps, but like I said, before I go into traps, I pretty much am still looking for a way to incorporate an additional Instant Fusion and an additional Ignition. So you may see these the numbers on those increase in a future Dark Magician artifact deck profile. And then for traps, this is the best one. Triple Artifact Sanctum. Now, I will say my Dimensional Barriers are actually in my side deck for my my Herald of Perfection. So if you guys are wondering why I'm not main decking those, it's because I'm side decking them in another deck. Now, when I take this deck to an event, like maybe I'll take it to my next tournament that I go to, I'm going to put my Dimensional Barriers in the main deck because Artifact Sanctum and Dimensional Barrier essentially do the same thing. They stun your opponent from going into extra deck plays. So I think that triple Sanctum and triple Dimensional Barrier, in addition to all of the control you already get with Dark Magicians, it really will help you to prevail over just pretty much any deck. And this deck does really good. I'm not going to lie. It's a very, very powerful deck. It's optimal for the format. And I'm running it. I'm definitely going to run it my next tournament because it's just going to be so good. I have high faith that I'll probably either get first place, go undefeated, or make top 4 cut. Now, triple Eternal Soul because it's just too broken not to play. This basically says that either you Twin Twister me and I negate the Twin Twister with Magician Navigation, or you attack over my Dark Magician, which naturally would be the only way you get over them because they're unaffected by your card effects. So you either kaiju them or you attack over them. But naturally, it's going to be really hard to break the board with Eternal Soul being active and live. Some people would think that this is a weakness to the deck because they can Twin Twister the Eternal Soul, but that is why Magician's Navigation is so broken and powerful, simply because it stops that Twin Twister from happening. It stops that board wipe, that Raigeki from happening. You can chain this and actually turn off a Vanity's Emptiness for a turn so you can still bring out your extra deck plays. So I think it's just really, really incredible. Magician Navigation is a must-have at 3. And there's a lot of times when you Demise and you pretty much have a full back row, so you can just discard this and after your Demise resolves, and you have pretty much an active and live Magician Navigation to banish from the grave and negate any of their spells and traps, whether it hurts you or helps them. And then triple Drowning Mirror Force. You are able to protect your Eternal Soul, but just in case you either open with no monsters or if they happen to kill your Eternal Soul, you have live drownings. And this actually is a lot more powerful than Quaking simply because it clears their field and you don't have to worry about basically picking them off one by one. And then for the Solemn Trio, just double strike and 1 Sexy Warning. And 1 Torrential Tribute because it's really, really broken. For the Zodiac format, this is like an auto win almost guaranteed. And 1 Vanity's Emptiness because it's just very, very powerful. But these are some really incredible board wipes. The Drowning and the Torrential, they really help. They come through with the clutch a lot. Now, that's pretty much the main deck. If people ever wonder why I hardly ever run 40 card decks, honestly, man, I always find a way to run more than 40 cards and make it consistent. And that's a skillful challenge. If you want to build a deck that's more than 40 cards, you have to have that skill level and that also that experience and just that basically the mindset to be able to make a 40 card deck, well, a deck that's more than 40 cards consistent, which I've done successfully on numerous occasions. If you see my hero deck, it's never been 40 cards, and how many times have I talked with it? So that may answer a lot of your questions if you're saying, why isn't this guy running 40 cards? And for extra deck, Ultimize Zolkin and pretty much all his targets. Whichever the situation calls for, you bring out any of these 3 off of Zolkin. You have lots of spells and traps, so you're always able to set. So say you make your Zolkin and Crystal Wing. Zolkin lives for 1 more turn. Next turn you can set, bring out another one. So I do run a fair amount of targets. And also, this deck has so much extra deck space. It's incredible. If I had Winter Cherries, I would definitely be running Cherries because you just have so much extra deck space. And Instant Fusion targets is pretty much one or the other until I incorporate a second Instant Fusion in here. But this comes up for Zolkin or just a free rank 5 play. And this not only is for a free rank 5 play, but basically to pop any card on the field that really was just bothering me a lot. And then this guy, I go into him a lot. It's mostly just for the style points, but this is when I'm ready for push. Like I said, first turn you set up, you Sanctum, you Eternal Soul, Dark Magical Circle, do what you gotta do, Drowning Mirror Force them if you have to. And then next turn, you're free to OTK them. And the cool thing is, all your summoning happens on your opponent's turn. So you don't have to worry about, you know, like them activating their traps, because they basically, you go first, and then they're opening into their plays. You're summoning all your monsters on their turn, so the traps that they set are not yet active. So the only thing they really could try to use on you to stop your push would be Mirror Forces. But if you have Eternal Soul or Magician's Navigation, then you're just gonna push for game. And this guy, he's my main go-to. I like him a lot. You pretty much, sometimes, even though I don't have the targets to special summon for my hand or deck, sometimes I make him just so I can banish an additional card that, you know, I couldn't get rid of with Magical Circle. So I like him a lot. Ebon Illusion puts in a lot of work for me. And Ebon High is equally as powerful, but it's pretty much like Sword and Shield, offensive and defensive. This is more so when you're in a bad position. If you're going second and they've pretty much established, you can make this guy sit on him and just make some nutty plays. He really does give you a lot of what's the word? He gives you a lot of advantage, and also the investment that you make into him, he really does just pay you back 100%. And then Big Eye, Red Eyes Flare Metal, and pretty much after this is just going to be the rank 5 plays for the artifacts. Durandal is really powerful in his own deck, and here is the main reason. So let's pull out this bad boy, let's pull out this bad boy, and let's pull out this bad boy. Now, we all know that Durandal can negate any normal spell or trap or monster effect, and that card effect becomes destroy one spell or trap your opponent controls. So, what I need you to understand from that is, even though the effect was changed, it is still your effect. If I negate, for example, your Raigeki then becomes an MST. It's still your card effect. So, what that says is, if I redirect that and the only back row I have, for example, is Sanctum, or let's say you just hit the Sanctum. If you destroy the Sanctum, basically, Durandal will change any effect to destroy Sanctum. Destroy Sanctum, I can chain it, bring out my Scythe, apply Scythe, and Sanctum will still get destroyed. So you'll get both of its effect. You get to lock them out from the extra deck and also destroy one card on the field. And that is absolutely just ridiculously powerful. It's just wow. Like Sanctum, you get so much economy off of this one card. It's incredible. Like this one card just single-handedly can win you duels. And the same thing with your artifacts. If you have dead artifacts in your back row, Durandal will help you to force your opponent to pop them and force your opponent to lock his own self out. So he will pay for his mistakes. And then the Ignition, which actually is the most broken combo, when you Durandal, force them to pop Ignition, chain Ignition, pop one of their back rows, and then set your Scythe, and then Ignition will then activate by skipping their next battle phase. So it's just basically, you steal turns. There's so many different ways you can steal turns. And that's just basically one of the most broken ways you can abuse Durandal. Other ways is everybody's running Twin Twisters, especially Zodiacs, because they don't play around back row very well. Like, they really don't. It's hard for them to play around strikes, warnings, you know, deep barriers, emptiness, all of that. So they're running guaranteed triple Twin Twisters. If they Twin Twister you and hit any of these, you're going to get free pluses off of it, and they're also going to end up killing themselves. So just some cool little some cool tips for you basically. And that's pretty much it for now, you guys. The side deck is still being built. If I choose this over my heralds, because I am addicted to playing heralds, I literally am addicted. It's so much fun. If I choose to actually not play heralds my next tournament, maybe OTS, I might actually play my Dark Magicians. And what I'll do is take every single good card out of my side deck for my heralds and put that in the side deck for my Dark Magicians. So tell me what you guys think. Give me your honest opinion and feedback on the deck, and what you think of Dark Magician artifacts. Is it a contender for this format? Do you think it can put in work? Do you think this was a good idea that I came up with? Or do you think, hey, maybe you should just stick to pure Dark Magician? Tell me whatever you think, man. I'm always open to listen to comments, but I will say I don't change my deck for anyone. The way I play is the way I like it. And I'll say this, if there's something that you feel could be changed in the deck, I honestly just encourage you to just buy the deck yourself, build it yourself, and build it how you want it. Because one thing I don't tolerate really is people telling me basically this is the way I should run the deck. I don't mind, you know, what's the word? I don't mind advice, but when you tell me, hey man, why are you running this? That's stupid. You're dumb. Like, you're an idiot. Why are you running this? You're supposed to. I'm not supposed to do anything. I do what I want. So if you feel like that you can make the deck better, don't tell me, oh man, your deck sucks. This is what you need to do. You do it yourself and then tell me how it works. And yeah, I don't mean to be rude, you guys, but I'm just keeping it 100, man. I really don't like when people try to tell me what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing what I want to do with my stuff, you feel me? I spend good money on this. So, you know, excluding that, God bless you guys. Be safe. Have a wonderful day. And tell me again. Tell me what you think of the deck. I really think it's awesome. And you guys will be seeing a lot of duel videos with this deck. You'll be seeing me playing a lot with this deck. I don't know whether whether or not I'm basically willing to switch from Herald to Dark Magician just yet, but I am feeling the deck, and I'm going to see how it does at the next event I go to. So I'll see you guys soon, and stay tuned for more amazing content. I've got a lot more for you, so just stay tuned for that.